WCLN 1170 Radio and Star Communications Channel 16 proudly present the We Should Know Show, an upbeat, informative look at people, places, and issues facing our community. This education-based analysis of issues will remain positive and informative. Now, here's your host, J.W. Simmons, as we consider closely what we should know.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. We Should Know is on the air. My name is J.W. Simmons. I'm your host. We're talking today about holiday safety. We're talking about fires, dangers, hazards that may be happening during the holiday season as well as throughout the year. And two people that's well aware of that is Chief Hagan Thornton with the Clinton Fire Department and Chief Brian Royal with the Halls Volunteer Fire Department right here in Sampson County. Gentlemen, thank you for being with us today, taking time out of what I can only imagine is not only a busy schedule, but a very weighty schedule for the positions you guys hold, and I appreciate what you're doing. Let's start the conversation today, if we can, and kind of get through some of these things with the holidays and what makes it different with holidays. What it's going through, and what have you trained on, and what are your guys prepared to do? And I'll start with Chief Hagan. I'll start with you. Clinton Fire Department, there's expectations when people has a holiday, us folks that's just doing the holiday. Oftentimes we don't stop and reflect that we may be having a great Thanksgiving meal, or we may be having a great Christmas meal. We may be at some kind of function, but we don't think, what if something happens and I do have to dial those 3 digits, 911? Are y'all ready to go?
Oh yeah, I mean we're definitely ready to go. Not just the paid side, but the volunteer side in the county. You call, we're always there. Little difference between me and Brian. We've got paid staffing 24 hours a day. So when everybody's at Thanksgiving eating, I'll have 7 away from their families here eating, together as a family. And that's the little difference between the paid side and the volunteer side is, I've got 3 shifts, 7 people per shift. So the holidays that we're out and me and Brian's off enjoying time with our family and you and everybody else, I've still got 7 people at work. So, it's a good thing and a bad thing. They're away from their family, but somebody picks up the phone, calls 911, we're right here. So.
Right, you're literally on site. And Brian, I'll move to you with being chief of a volunteer department in a rural area, and plus you now have a helipad out there. Yes. That you could get called out to, just in a traffic accident situation, and you do that quite a bit. So it's like you're in the unknown world all the time, and there's nobody sitting there at the station.
That is correct, and just speaking, especially during the holiday. You have people traveling a lot more, so you have more people on the highway, so you do have a more opportunity of people that are always in a rush these days, and more chance of an accident. But one thing that I'm very fortunate is I'm 7 miles from Clinton, so Clinton Fire Department is neighboring me. And yes, we are short of help sometimes during the day, but one thing I always look at is if we receive a call of a motor vehicle accident, for example, and I hear the severity of the accident, and it sounds like they might be someone pinned, or we might have to fly someone out. Mm-hmm. I automatically get on the radio and say, hey, send me my mutual aid department, which would be Clinton. And then they're coming to me to help me. I can always turn them around once I get there, but I always like to have an extra helping hands on the way. So that's a very good thing that I can call them, and they're right down the road from me.
Is the departments in Sampson County, and this is a question for both of you, are they set up and integrated in the most efficient way to deal with that immediate response, that 5 or 10 minute get there time response? Do you feel comfortable just looking at it on a larger scale basis? Because I know Clinton's had to call and get support from the county previously. So this is a two-way street here. Is there other things that could be done, or do you think we're maximizing all the assets we've got?
I feel like we're maximizing the assets we've got with the funding we have. You can only do what funding allows. and you have to get creative with that. So I feel like the city and county departments are utilizing all their assets the best they can for the funding we're providing.
Since you mentioned funding, I'll say that in looking at some of the issues, challenges for fire departments, one of those issues was looking forward in 2025 and even 2024 is the funding issue. Is the funding issue addressed in such a way that do you feel like it's going to be exponentially more going forward? Is there additional funding that you see that's going to be almost mandatory that you got because of the transition of everything that's going on in society, population, movement of people, traffic patterns, all of that stuff makes a difference. How do you feel about funding? Because it's listed as one of the key issues for fire departments in North Carolina.
Yes, and I start off on that. So for a rural fire department, volunteer fire department, we basically live off of a tax district in our fire district. So it's usually like 7 cents on per $100. So, and it's depending on how your population is. So if you're a community that's got a lot of houses, a lot of businesses, then your revenue is a little bit more. In some areas where it's not populated, you got more woodland. So we basically survive off a tax rate. And just with the cost of everything going up, fuel going up, insurance premiums going up, just you got $1 million fire trucks. So, I mean, you have to insure those. And basically, my insurance bill at a local volunteer fire department is around $30,000 a year. Just that's with my vehicle insurance and my health, workman's comp insurance. So just insurance alone is $30,000. And that's basically 1 cent on my tax dollar. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, most of my budget is fuel, insurance, and just upkeeping of the truck. So I don't really have the funding that I can pay firemen to come currently. I mean, if I do, I'd have to raise taxes, and then that puts a burden on my taxpayers in my district. So I have to look at grants. Department of Insurance, they do a 50-50 grant once a year, and I can apply. So it's nice to get an item for half price, basically, but you still got to take the time to fill out the paperwork and apply for the grant and hopefully get it. And then you got to make sure you keep good records for 5 years to turn back in, make sure you keep the items and stuff. Make sure everything's correct with that. There is other grants you can look for, but for a rural fire department, a volunteer fire department, volunteer goes out the door as soon as you sign your name on the roster because, I mean, you're always doing something. Yeah. So funding is very important.
Chief Thornton, you got a somewhat of a different situation in that you got full-time people. Not only do they expect to be paid, that expectation is fulfilled. What Chief Ward just alluded to, with full-time people, they also expect adjustments upward as years go by. Is that a challenge? And I mean, do you think that paid departments are going to be able futuristically to continue that level of funding to keep the skilled, talented persons that you have to do this job?
Oh yeah. So I mean, the benefit of Clinton, you can look at my roster, and Brian, I tell you the same thing. The majority of we're home. Majority of my people are familiar with Clinton. I've got 2 or 3 that's not from Sampson County, but majority of the ones are from Sampson that want to work, they're here. And that says a lot. I worked at New Hanover before, and you get the opportunity to come home. That means something. But I mean, you're right. You look at all the departments around you. They do pay studies, and it's not really the department; it's the municipality. Mm-hmm. They do pay studies, and they'll increase their pay. And then, we have to do one. The council, we done one 2 years ago. Council approved it this past year for this current budget year, and we got some raises on our firemen this year.
I think it's important for folks to understand that oftentimes we kind of take for granted for both of you that, if something happens, the truck will show up and there's people going to be here and that kind of thing. It
costs to have people here.
Yeah, and heaven forbid the day that 911 is called and it's an hour or 30 minutes, and I'm sure there's areas in the country that happens, but we're very fortunate to have that ability that people are willing to do this job, and go through what they go through. And the training part of it is that, and that's one of the career aspects, is that recruitment and retention is a big issue going forward for 2025. Are you both looking at that and wondering, I hope we're able to maintain the personnel we got? And I know the volunteer area, you got some people that is getting on in the age point that some of the jobs they just can't do anymore.
I mean, I don't think the retention and recruitment just applies to the paid side. It's on both sides, because Brian's he's got to recruit new people and he's got to retain what he's got.
Yes.
Go ahead.
No, I think one thing that kind of helps our volunteer fire department, also helps the pay department, is 4 or 5 years ago, the college came out with a idea. They said, okay, let's get into the high schools. Let's start targeting towards the 11th and 12th graders. So now I can go out and talk to my high schoolers and say, hey, you want to join the fire department? Join the fire department, see what you like. And if you like it, in 11th and 12th grade, you can actually go to Sampson Community College and get high school credits and your firefighter certification. So potentially someone could graduate high school, and as soon as they walk across the stage, they could walk into his fire department the next day and apply for a job. So that is one thing, very awesome, that someone can actually graduate high school with all their certification and no charge. As long as they volunteer with a fire department or part of an organization, they can go through that class, and it's paid for through our department.
And that gives you kind of an ongoing personnel and staff. At the same time, Chief, for your paid people, you may be picking up some of his folks, depending on who they are, that when you have an opening that could slide right into your department.
Oh, yeah. And that's kind of what we're doing now. Like I just hired 2, one from Turkey and one from Hagan. So we try to keep it, the best man for the job, but we've done a very good job in keeping people interested in the volunteer side, and they've wanted to come to Clinton. They've came back to Clinton, and it helps us because it helps build those relationships with the volunteer departments also.
We'll take a quick break. We'll come back. We're going to talk about winter safety tips. Ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned. We're talking with the fire chiefs here from Clinton Fire Department and the Halls Fire Department. Stay tuned. We'll be back in a moment.
Computer viruses, malware, and ransomware are out there. They're dangerous, and they can steal your identity and damage your equipment. Star Communications is now offering Protect IQ. The service adds an extra layer of protection to every device connected to your network, working quietly in the background. Star can help you protect yourself from the inside out with Protect IQ. Call Star today and take advantage of this free service when you sign up for whole home Wi-Fi with Star Communications.
How can your friend save you money? It's easy. Refer a relative, coworker, neighbor, or friend to Star Communications. Friend signs up for high-speed internet service. Friend's new account is confirmed. Friend gives your name to our service representative as the one who referred them to Star. You receive a $30 internet credit. It's just that simple. And even better, receive a $30 internet credit for every referral that results in a new confirmed account. High-speed internet from Star Communications. Refer a friend today.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. We Should Know's on there. We're talking fire safety, fire issues, firefighting. Chief Hagan Thornton, Clinton Fire Department, and Chief Brian Royal, the Halls Volunteer Fire Department. Thank you guys again, both being here. When we went to break, I had in the back of my mind, I sure hope an alarm don't go off or the show's going to be interrupted here. But that's how you operate. That's what, that no matter where you are. And I want to stress that before we get into winter tips about fire safety, is that on constantly as we're sitting here right now, as you go home and you lay your head on a pillow to go to sleep, you know that thing that you carry with you that's always close by, if it goes off, your life just changed. And it's a constant thing. That's a weight. That's a whole nother conversation we can have. But I want to talk about the winter, let's call it the winter season. We're just now getting there. We're just now starting to talk about 30 degrees and it's going to be this cold and that cold. Most folks seem to be kind of dialed into a pair of shorts and a t-shirt. Now we're going to see all of a sudden this ain't working good. And they might not think about things they need to think about. What are some of the things that folks need to be thinking about right now as it relates to cold weather versus warm weather when it comes to fire safety?
So I'm going to start off with seasonal fires, and yes, it's getting ready to be wintertime. And also, before I get into this, I also want to remind everyone that if you don't have a smoke detector in your house or a carbon monoxide detector in your house, contact your local fire department. Just let them know, say, hey, I don't have this. And most fire departments got the capability of getting those. And even if you don't even have a way to install them, we'll come install them. So I don't want to ever get to a fire that something happens and they didn't have a working smoke detector in their house. So maybe keying in on smoke detectors. It's starting to get cold. I mean, it's been hot the whole summer and you want to run your heat. You might turn your heat on for the first time and you might not even have a fire, but it's been sitting up all year and it might have dust on it and it might start smelling a little bit or smoke might be coming from it, but it's actually dust fumes. So your smoke detector might go off. It might not really be a fire, but your smoke detector go off. You don't know why it's going off. Call 911. Call the fire department. We'll come. We don't charge, and we're going to come. We're going to check it out, make sure everything's safe. So we'd rather be safe than sorry. Also, I talked earlier about traveling. Just leave in plenty of time. Don't get in a hurry. You're going to get where you're going. I mean, so just be patient. Cooking. A lot of people around Thanksgiving, they fry turkeys. Grease. Just make sure that you read the instructions of thawing a turkey properly. Do not put a frozen turkey in grease. Make sure that your grease is not going to overfill when you're frying a turkey. So just be cautious of what you're doing.
If you have a grease fire, don't put water on it.
Yes, that is correct. Don't put water on it.
So if it's like a kitchen fire, which often happens, I mean, how do you extinguish it? I mean,
put the lid on it, put baking soda on it, just not water. Put water on it, it expands.
Should people have fire extinguishers in their kitchens and know how to operate them, or is that asking way too much? Because I've heard that.
I mean, if you feel comfortable using one, but if you're not, you potentially could get hurt worse than just getting out of the house.
Are we at the point that we really need to have more conversations like this to help train the person to react in that first 30 to 50 seconds of a fire that could actually save their life? And I mean, obviously they need to dial 911 if you got a fire. We get that, but is there a certain training process that the average person listening to this show or watching this show today needs to process in their mind? What would I do if this happened?
Well, you never want to do anything if you don't feel comfortable. So if you really don't feel comfortable using a fire extinguisher, don't use it. But we usually go by a simple phrase, pass. You pull the pin out of a fire extinguisher for P, you aim it at the base of the fire, you squeeze and you sweep towards the base of the fire. Mm-hmm. Now, I'm not saying that every fire department will train you, but I'm pretty sure that if you would like to learn actually how to use a fire extinguisher, if you contact your local fire department and say, hey, I want to have a fire extinguisher in my kitchen in case anything ever happens, or outside near my grill. I mean, if you contact your local fire department, most fire departments are going to try to help you out. They're wanting to help you so you don't get in the situation that you're endangered.
Chief Thornton, I was just thinking as we're doing this show today and I'm sitting here talking to you guys, this would be a good moment for people that are watching or listening, not only for them, but to relay the message that they need to be thinking about what potentially could happen now, and at what point in time do they take action themselves, and at what point in time do they end up calling the department?
So And just before I get into that, we've done some home ec classes with Clinton High School. They'll come out and we'll use a burn pan, teach them how to use the fire extinguisher. So we do some of that stuff when the schools reach out, which is a good training for them. Like Brian said, if you're not comfortable doing it, just the best thing to do is get out and call 911. What you see happen is somebody go in and try to put a fire out. They'll spend 3 or 4 or 5 minutes trying to do it. Realize, I'm making it worse.
Yeah.
Then they'll go outside, call 911. Well, we're 5 minutes behind.
Yes.
Yeah.
And their property loss is more than if they'd have just walked outside and called us before they even done anything. So if you're not comfortable and not proficient in knowing what you're about to do, best thing to do is get out, call 911 so we can get there quicker.
Is there a way, for example, and we got a lot of churches, and thank God for our churches, but we got a lot of churches and they meet regularly. Is this something that would be recommended for not only for the church itself and for safety at the church, because we got a lot of programs going on at churches, a lot of food being served and that kind of thing. But for folks that attend that church to have classes, and could they depend on you guys to come out and teach them how to do some of these things?
Yeah, I mean, I think Rowan Community Church had a community day. I think we went out and done something there that day. We're open to anything in Clinton's fire district, or us and Brian to get together, do stuff together. So whatever we need to do.
I mean, like Chief Thornton said, they start off in schools and teach how to use fire extinguisher in schools. So more organizations or individuals we can get to and teach them at an early age and stuff. And then hopefully in the future, then more people's been through the training sometime in their point of life. So matter of fact, tonight I've got a group from Grove Park Church coming to Hall's Fire Department. It's a mission group from RAs and GAs, younger ones, but we'll go through some of that stuff of what you need to do during fire safety. So that's one thing we try to do, is get it out into the public and talk to them. And there might be an organization that we miss. So really, if there's somebody out there who would love to learn more about fire safety, contact your local fire department.
Is community involvement, do you consider that as a key asset for your department, Chief?
Oh yeah, I mean, we get points on it for our ISO rating, community risk reduction. So, and I was about to speak on this. Everybody thinks we're just a fire department, we run fire calls, but it's evolved to, it's more of the community risk reduction stuff and that's pretty much what we're doing. We're out in the community teaching classes, going to churches coming to us, high schools coming to us, going to the kitchen, the lunch ladies, speaking to them, the nursing homes, getting out in the public and educating them on things, fire safety, around Christmas time, cooking safety, things like that. And that's really what the fire department's involved in, is community risk reduction.
During this holiday season, we always have the concerns about lights, electrical fires. You mentioned the heat systems are now coming on. That's a big issue. What comes to mind for you that would be, say, a key point as it relates to the lighting process? I know lighting now has gone to LED, so maybe it's not pulling as many watts, but you still have those lights that are strung throughout the trees, and then you've got the tree that's artificial versus the live tree. Let's kind of redo the process in thinking about that. I know we talk about this just about every year, but still, somebody will end up with a situation. Well, I'm going to make this work for this particular time period. Let's start this conversation, and then we'll take a break a minute, and we'll come back and continue the conversation about the actual holiday equipment that people are buying and plugging in. And has it been UL certified or not? That's another piece.
So, you got your real Christmas trees and your fake ones. Your real ones, those are the ones that will dry out. They'll get hot from the lights, catch on fire. People don't keep them watered. So, and I don't, there's probably a lot more people around here than we realize that's using real trees.
Yes. And several years ago, technology's got a lot better with LED lights and stuff, so they don't heat up as much. Years past, used to have larger bulbs, and they actually heated up, and it would actually cause more of a fire. But one thing I'm very concerned about, and it actually happens at my house, I have animals. You got dogs, cats, and you got Christmas lights outside, and you got drop cords running through your pine straw or your house. So you got to be very aware of, hey, inspect those. Not just as soon as you put them up, but I mean, a week down the road or 2 days down the road, make sure an animal or squirrel, raccoon hadn't come in your yard and chewed the wire and it's got it frayed, and then you leave it on while you're going to bed, and then something catches on fire. So you got to be aware of drop cords like that, and also make sure you're not trying to overload your circuits. You might want to try to run a lot of lights in your yard, blow ups, whatever, and you might only have a small breaker and you're trying to overload it. So make sure you have like a surge protector or something that will trip out before it actually would start a fire in your electrical panel.
I think it's interesting when we come back from this break. I want to kind of get into some of those ideas of overloading. Oftentimes we not only overload the circuits in the home, but we get a certain Christmas decoration that we think, well, that'd be really neat. I saw it at so-and-so's house. I'm going to get one, and we stick it in a wall socket. And, you know, the ampage might not be right or something of that nature, and we get into an issue. So what do we look for certifications, and at what point in time do we reach out to you guys and say, hey, I need some advice here? We'll be back in a moment. We'll continue this conversation with the fire chiefs about the winter problems that you may run into. We'll be back in a moment.
At Fisher's, it's not just about fashion. It's about exceptional service. Experience top-notch customer care and find your perfect look. Visit Fisher's today and feel the difference.
Experiencing slow internet? If you have a fast internet package, the problem is most likely your wireless router. With more devices using Wi-Fi, your wireless router may not be able to deliver the speed and coverage you need. We now have the leading solution to enhance your internet experience. Using small devices in a mesh network, these Wi-Fi appliances cover just about any size home so that all your devices can operate to their fullest potential. Whole home Wi-Fi from Star Communications. Get the most out of your internet connection.
If you run a business, you need sales. To get sales, you need customers. To get customers, you need exposure. Let our team of experts craft and produce the perfect video ad to reach your intended audience while making the most of your advertising dollars. Call 1-800-706-6538 or visit starcom.net to contact our Star Communications production team and get your business moving to the next level.
The average American household has 17 devices connected to the internet. With more and more devices able to get online, you may need to increase your internet speed. Call Star Communications today and let us help you select the package that's right for you.
Welcome back, folks. The name of the show is We Should Know. We're coming to you on Star Communications TV, Channel 16, also WCLN Radio. We look forward to seeing you every week. And when we come back, I want to mention in this part right here that you can reach us by simply sending an email to weshouldknowedu@gmail.com. Or if you want to drop a card, you can reach the show by just sending that to Post Office Box 1482. This is our holiday safety show. We've got two fire chiefs with us, Chief Hagan Thornton and Chief Brian Royal. Safety, when we say holidays, and safety for people mean different things. Chief Roy, you mentioned safety in the sense of fire and outside the home with lights, outside the home with animals chewing things, inside the home with animals. Most folks today have a dog or a cat or both in the house. Is that something that becomes a tremendous problem for you? Are you seeing more fires related to something dealing with animals or something dealing with the landscape itself?
Yes, we've had a couple of fires in the last few years where basically drop cords are laid out in pine straw. It could have sparked, had a tear in the drop cord where an animal might have chewed on it. But another thing that kind of concerns me is in the wintertime, it seems like we don't get much snow anymore, but rain, you got drop cords laying out in your yard and it rains, and the where it connects might be in a puddle or something. So just kind of be cautious. You don't want to be walking outside and your drop core's laying in some water and it's plugged in. I mean, that could actually cause you to get electrocuted. So just be cautious of the weather and the drop cores that you have out. Make sure they're in good shape and what kind of where it's laying at. So in the summertime, your grass is green. In the wintertime, your grass might be brown, dead. So it would actually cause a fire a little bit quicker. So just be cautious of that.
Chief Thornton, do you have a concern as it relates to gas stoves and gas cooking and using gas as opposed to electricity? Is there an increased?
Well, I mean, with gas, if your pilot light goes out and you got your gas on, carbon monoxide, stuff like that, I mean, that causes a bigger risk than electricity.
Do you still see people having that issue? I mean, I'm thinking that by now we should be upgraded enough with technology that wouldn't happen. But
I mean, you've still got plenty of old homes around town and around the county that you do run in that situation occasionally. It's not as common now as it was probably 5 years ago, but we still have the gas leaks and, I smell gas and I've been cooking, but I might be out of gas. I'm not sure if I'm out of gas, and so we end up running a bunch of calls like that. Not as many as we used to, but it's still around.
Now, you mentioned a while ago the fact that check the fire safety alarms, check the carbon monoxide alarms, that kind of thing. Does the fire departments offer those to the community without cost, or is there a cost in that? Kind of fill us in on what we need to know about it, because I know they're on sale. You can buy them at Lowe's and different places, but how does that work? And is there funds available?
There's a grant program through the state that we can apply for, and get smoke detectors and install them, carbon monoxide alarms. We've done it, so we probably go 3 or 4 houses a week checking on fire alarms, putting them in. We actually just done a campaign with Domino's. If people would just let us check their smoke detectors, they got a whole order of Domino's for free. But you would be amazed at the amount of people that would not let us in their house, and they didn't know this. So we would show up with Domino's. Yeah. And the delivery driver from Domino's, they would say, "Look, we're partnering with Clinton Fire Department today, and if you let us check your house for smoke detectors, working smoke detectors, or just let us check them at all, your order is free. And if they're not working, it was our job to install them or fix them. If they had some dead, we'd put new ones up." And the amount of people that would not let us in their house is alarming.
What do you think causes that? I mean, why wouldn't? I mean, because we're talking a double win here. You're talking food and you're talking a safety win at the same time. I'm trying to.
I don't.
You got any thoughts?
It blew my mind.
I mean, some people just maybe don't want you to see inside their house. I mean, but we're not there to judge anyone. We're there to make sure we're there to make sure you're safe. And you see a fire department sometime and are they here to write me a ticket? No, we're not here to write your ticket. And even if you have a fire, I mean, we're not charging. Some people still think, hey, I call 911, they're going to charge me to come to put out a small fire. No, we're not going to charge you. We're here to come to help you and save your property and make sure you're safe. So even at the volunteer level, we do try to keep fire extinguisher or fire smoke alarms on hand. And if you ever need one, yes, just contact us. We have a few carbon monoxide detectors, but if there's a need that you need something and you say, well, I really need a fire extinguisher and I'm trying to use one, but I don't have the funds to buy one, hey, you let us know and we're going to find a way to get you a fire extinguisher at your house as well. So we're there to help you.
It just seems to me, just listening to this segment of the conversation we're having now, is that it's just kind of untenable to think that all of a sudden somebody says, this person's here to help me. He's going to not only give me the fire, sensor, but he's going to install it. He's going to check the one I got. There's, and then all of a sudden you just added another incentive, food with it. It's hard to understand why this wouldn't be something that folks would say, thank you. And, hey, even make a donation to the fire department or something.
Well, that's one thing. I never want to have a call or hear a tale of anyone in my fire district that got injured or would happen to be a fatal accident or something that I felt like I could have prevented by providing them a fire extinguisher, a smoke alarm, or some proper training to prevent that. I mean, I'm here to do whatever I can to make sure you're safe. And if there's something that you think you can need, there's no crazy questions. So if there's something that you want to ask, call us, and we'll find a way to do it.
And the idea of these safety issues as well with fires is, and this has come up a number of times in media, so I thought we would discuss it as well, is the whole issue with lithium batteries that's happening on planes. It's happening in different places with phones and so forth, and bikes. Is that a special focus for folks? Should they understand that there are some hazards there, or do you think it's being overplayed in the media?
I don't think it's been overplayed. I think you're seeing it more common in your bigger cities because you had these e-bikes that everybody's using to run the battery down low, and they'll charge it up and run it down low again the next day. And, that's their mode of transportation is the e-bike. And I really think you're seeing it in the bigger cities, New York, San Francisco, places in California, your bigger cities. But me and Brian have talked about this over the past week. We're not seeing it here yet. That's not to say it's not coming. Mm-hmm. It's definitely coming. But we haven't seen it here yet.
How about cars? We're seeing cars now, either hybrids or they're total electric cars. And we don't have, as you said, we don't have as many around here, I don't think, but they are gradually showing up on the landscape. I started seeing some out in the rural area here and there, although there's very, very few. Is that something that causes you to say, do you have to have additional training? Is there a special way you approach that fire? Kind of fill us in on what's going through your minds as you see more and more of those on the landscape.
Well, like Chief Thornton said earlier about the batteries, of course, we're not really seeing many right now, which we know it's coming, but yes, we always got to stay up on our training. So anything that we know that's out there in California or just coming out on the market, yes, we need to be prepared for it. Just for instance, you bought a car in the 70s, 80s, you raised the hood and the battery's always right there in the front. Mm-hmm. Now we've gone to incidents where the battery might be in the trunk or where the spare tire is underneath the car. Or so you got to kind of know what kind of vehicles are on the road now in case it's an accident, how to properly shut it off. Electric cars, they're getting to be more and more of them out there. So we cannot let our guard down. We do have to kind of stay ahead of the training and reach out to the college and say, look, hey, let's get something work together and on this training. And Saints Community College, I'm going to brag on them for a minute. They are very helpful at staying ahead with the training in Sampson County. They're actually looking at right now building a training facility for the fire service, EMS service at one of their new campuses. So they're very helpful in helping us stay prepared for the future.
How young can you be? You talked about a while ago the getting involved even in the high school level in the training, that kind of thing. Is there an age limit that you have before folks that want to become part of the fire department? Is there a state regulation or anything on that? So,
I'm going to speak on the volunteer side. Because I know when you're getting into the pay department with like Chief Thornton, they got different requirements. But the Department of Insurance actually lets a child at the age of 14 can join the organization. So 14 and 15, they cannot ride on a fire apparatus, but they can actually join the fire department. Of course, and then you cannot start doing any training at that age because there's hazards for that.
A junior.
Yes, unless you're a junior. But at Hall's Fire Department, I allow someone at the age of 15, they can join the fire department. They can come out there and just kind of get to feel like, hey, is this something I want to do? So, you kind of like test the water to see if that's something you want to do. So at the age of 15, you can join. Of course, you can't drive to the station, but you can come on our meeting night, training nights, and train with us and learn. And at the age of 16, you can actually start doing a little bit more. And we have actual training aids at our department now. We actually have like a burn box, so we can actually do our own fires, contained, safe, and we can let them experience a little bit of fire at that age just to kind of see what we go through. So you never want to maybe wait till they graduate high school and say, well, yeah, I want to be a firefighter. And then they spend 2 years doing something and like, this was not for me. So, I mean, it's kind of like a trial. I mean, try it out first.
Comfort zone. We're going to take a break and be right back. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back in a moment. We're going to kind of dig a little bit deeper into the fire service and some of the things that these guys face on a daily basis, protecting us out there in the community. Stay tuned. We'll be back in a moment.
Welcome to Cork and Brew Roseboro, where you can enjoy your favorite coffee, fraps, smoothies, bakery items, sandwiches, and select beer and wines while reconnecting with friends and family. Sit down and enjoy the experience. Come on by and give us a try.
Providing fewer commutes, more backyard offices, and crystal clear meetings. Providing less, you froze up, and more presence in your presentations. Providing a better internet experience. Providing possible.
You're out for an evening on the town. Finally a chance to relax and forget that you left your front door completely unlocked. Fortunately, you just installed a security system from Star Communications. With just your cell phone, you can check on your house, lock it down, light it up, and get back to relaxing.
You forgot to put Buster in his crate.
Unfortunately, we can't help with that. Security and automation from Star Communications. Call today to find out more.
At the Reedy Mark, we take pride in a unique, distinguished customer experience. We specialize in handcrafted cocktails, allocated bourbons, as well as gourmet signature food items exclusive to our menu at the Reedy Mark in Roseboro.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. We Should Know is on there. J.W. Simmons here, your host. We're talking with the fire chiefs today, Chief Hagan Thornton, Clinton Fire Department, and the chief of the Halls Volunteer Fire Department, Brian Royal. Guys, we've talked about a lot of stuff. We're coming up on the last part of the show. We want to kind of get into some of those, I'm not going to say unknown areas, but areas that you face regularly. We've touched on the typical Christmas tree drying out, the typical kinds of things we hear each year from the National Fire Protection Association about what you need to look at and not cook that turkey in the garage and those kinds of things. But the things that you've actually seen that has been kind of unique over the past 5 years or over the past few years, that things that are happening and that maybe it's a wake-up call. So I'll call this part of the show, Don't Do This. And Chief Hagan, I'll start with you.
So like you said, we see a lot of different things over the past couple of years. I've seen some things over the past couple of weeks that I've never seen before. A couple of weeks ago, we had a fire. Halls was with us, started from gas logs. Just an older house that, the pilot light was lit. They were on low, and the house had dried out, and there was some water missing between the bricks, and caught the house on fire.
Wow!
I've never witnessed that. That was something new, something interesting to see how, just from gas logs and dried out wood can start a whole house fire. About a year ago, we had, people get phones to plug phones up. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if you ever felt your phone when it's rapidly charging with these new rapid chargers.
Yeah.
Your phone gets hot. People's putting them in between their mattress and their pillow. Had a house fire started that way. So, as Christmas is coming up, people, youngins are getting new phones or different phones, or finally getting a phone and they're charging them for the first time. They're putting them up under their pillow. That's not safe.
No.
So
it needs to be in a safe place, away from anything that's flammable.
Yes, sir.
On the pillow fire thing, is the bed linen itself, is that what causes it, or is it something else?
Well, that's what I was getting ready to say. It's just, in the wintertime, you got electric blankets. A lot of people use those and stuff. So, that's, again, I go back to cords being frayed, because I've just seen it time over time. Just make sure your cords and stuff, whatever you got it plugged into, is properly, looks properly safe, and not fragile or anything. It's just, one thing I maybe gear back towards is using common sense. I mean, and I'm gearing away from the fire side, but going to motor vehicle accidents. Dollar General's on every street corner now. So someone say, well, I'm riding down to Dollar General right quick, and you throw your child in the front seat. I mean, that's not safe. I mean, if your child needs to be in a car seat, take the extra 2 minutes, put your child in the car seat. Don't put them in the front seat where everybody's going to come out. I mean, just don't be in a rush. Just slow down and just think about it. I mean, because it don't matter if you're only going half a mile down the road. I mean, accidents happen. And that's also, I mean, if you're cooking on the stove and you run down the road for half a minute, I mean, make sure that you turn it off. I mean, don't leave stuff unattended.
Chief Rule makes a good point. Isn't it? Circle back to you, Chief Thornton, is that there seems to be a lot of urgency and sense of urgency and to some degree anxiety. People in the holiday season and during this time of the year, they're rushing to get that last minute present, or they ordered it online and there was something wrong with it. So now they've got to take it back and they're rushing here and there. Do you see people taking those risks to get something that is tangible, and suddenly they've destroyed their lives trying to text and drive and trying to get to point A and B? And I mean, are you sensing that from your job?
Oh yeah. I mean, I told my wife the other day, I said, can we slow down? Like, everything we do now and everything everybody does, you feel like you're rushed. It's got to be done right now. It can't we wait 5 minutes? We're supposed to be there 10 minutes ago. And it's not just me. I'm sure Chief Royal and yourself can attest to that. It's, everybody's in a rush, and we don't slow down long enough to think about the safety aspect of what we're doing. Like Chief said, people think it's real easy. You just take a child, throw them in the back seat or the front seat. I'm just running a quarter mile down the road. But if you look, majority of the bad fatal wrecks are within 5 miles of your house. So, because people, they don't pay attention. They know the road. They think they can drive it with their eyes shut, and things happen. It's just, everybody needs to slow down, and myself speaking, get up in time to do what you need to do in a timely manner without feeling rushed, flying up and down the highway. That'll cause us that'll allow us to stay off the road, And, going back to some things we mentioned throughout the program, people thought, used to think the fire department's just the fire department. It's not. It's, we're running wrecks, we're running tree downs, we're running lift assist, we're running cardiac arrest, house fires, vehicle fires. Anything that they don't know who can handle it, they're sending the fire department.
And that ends up with your comment about trees or things that's impeding traffic. You're going to end up the person ultimately going out there, because I don't know whether DOT's got an emergency response team or not. But
for instance, like you said, trees across the road. Yes, that's really not a fire issue, but the way we look at it is, hey, someone in our community might need to get to the hospital, and that tree's blocking their path. So, I mean, we look at it to serve our community. So, I mean, if there's a tree across the roadway, I mean,
it's a public safety issue.
It's a public safety issue. And yes, DOT, they do have resources to go move it. But at nighttime, they have to call someone. They have to go to their office. They have to get their truck. They have to get their chainsaws and then come out. So you might have an hour where someone in our community, I mean, everyone, we can be at our station and probably on the scene within 5 minutes, and we can start working towards it. Even if it's something too large we can't move, at least we can maybe put some caution tape around it or put some lights up so no one don't run into it. So we're, like Chief Thornton said, we're more than just a fire department. We're here to serve our community in whatever way possible. If the way I look at it, if you're leaving the hospital today and you're coming home on your car, and your wife is driving you and you need some help getting in the house, and it's just you and your wife, I mean, call 911 and say, hey, look, can you have the fire department or someone in my community to come and help me get into my house? I'm not going to refuse that. So if you need some help, you need something that I can provide a service for, I'm going to come and help you.
And Chief Thornton, one of the things that strikes me here too, we're talking about not only the sense of urgency in our community now, but the lack of being able to communicate and understand what you are offering. I can't reemphasize enough the importance of saying we'll come to your house and we will check your fire alarm. We will check your carbon monoxide for those folks that do have fireplaces. If you do not have that, we will help you with another one way or the other. The fact that that's there and that you don't have to go back to that house and see a tragedy is worth the experience of going through what you go through, is it not?
No, it is. I mean, like Chief Royal said, we're here to protect and serve our community. It's all about community risk reduction. So we'd rather do it on the front end instead of on the back end. If we do it on the back end, that normally means something has gone wrong. So we try to get up front and do things, be proactive instead of reactive. And that's not just for Clinton, that's for Halls, Heron, Taylor's Bridge, the whole county. You can see from my side, you see all the fire chiefs getting involved in doing more community risk reduction stuff, community outreach, community events. I think the county is doing a great job with that.
The other thing on holidays I mentioned before we have to close here too is the disposal part of the holiday becomes a concern. In the next few weeks, a lot of this, should I say, glitz and glitter is going to be put up. A lot of the packaging is going to be there. There's going to be trees to get rid of and those kinds of things. What are the encouraging things that you need to encourage people to do to, number one, not litter their community? I get that, but is there things there that we need to be cautious about?
Well, basically, I mean, yes, in your towns, they offer a pickup service. So most of your city organizations, they pick up your holiday leftovers and stuff. So, but you don't want to put them in anything in the highway that's probably going to block the view of a passing by car that a child might be playing and would not happen to see someone. So you do need to be cautious of where you put the items. And also, I mean, just one thing I want to just gear away from that before we close and just let you know. So in a rural fire department, like I said earlier at the beginning, we do survive off of our tax dollars, but we do fundraising events at our fire department. And one thing I've got coming up next week is a turkey shoot. And it's really not that we're out there raising a bunch of money, but it does offset the cost a little bit. But it's more about I've got the community coming, fellowshipping, and I'm learning the people in my community and their needs and stuff. So it's kind of like a two-way street that yet are coming, having a good time, and we're communicating, and I might even gain a firefighter out of that deal. Like someone might come to our fundraisers like, hey, you want to join the fire department and you live right down the road? I mean, there's more than just fighting fire. So, I mean, might benefit from you joining our organization. So
I want to thank both of you for being with us today and your comments and hope it will resonate with someone and may even save someone's life. The ability for someone to call you, and I just keep wanting to repeat this over and over again, that you will actually go to their house and help them with their fire extinguisher, with a carbon monoxide protector. Look at things that you see that might be hazards. So thank you for being with us, and I look forward to having you back soon. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being with us. Look forward to seeing you again next week, and may God bless.
Thank you for tuning in to this week's episode of We Should Know with host J.W. Simmons. If you have a question, comment, or suggestion regarding this or any episode, please send your emails to weshouldknowedu@gmail.com. And remember to tune in every Tuesday at 2:30 for another informative episode of We Should Know.